Hey everyone! Today we're talking about badass women in history. Specifically, Cathay Williams, the first black female to enlist in the Army. Williams was born into slavery in Independence, Missouri in 1842. She worked as a house slave for William Johnson, a wealthy planter in Jefferson County, Missouri, until his death. Soon after the Civil War broke out, she was freed by Union soldiers and soon went to work for the Federal Army as a paid servant. While she was working as a servant, she served Colonel Thomas Hart Benton while he was in Little Rock, Arkansas, as well as General Philip Sheridan and his staff, experiencing military life firsthand. And Sheridan brought her with him to Washington to serve as a cook and a laundress. During this, she witnessed the Shenandoah Valley raids in Virginia and afterwards continued to travel with them to Iowa, St. Louis, New Orleans, Savannah, and Macon. When the war was over, Williams wanted to maintain her financial independence, and in November 1866 she enlisted as William Cathay, or Kathy, depending, in the 38th U.S. Infantry, Company A. At that time, only a cursory medical examination was required, and she was quickly found to be fit for duty. Only two people knew her true identity, her cousin and a friend. On February 13th, 1867, Williams was sent to Jefferson Barracks, Missouri, and a few months later, in April, the troops marched to Fort Riley, Kansas. By June, they were on the march again, and this time to Fort Harker, Kansas, and the next month on to Fort Union, New Mexico. In September, the regiment moved on to Fort Cummings, New Mexico, and arrived on October 1st. They were stationed there for 8 months, protecting miners and traveling immigrants from Apache attacks. This seemingly took a toll on her, and her health was suffering. She was recorded as being in 4 different hospitals on 5 separate occasions. And possibly during these various hospital visits, it was never discovered that she was a woman. I mean, I can't even imagine them not being able to find out that in a hospital. I mean, I know this was like back in colonial times, but geez. On June 6, 1868, the company marched again to Fort Bayard, New Mexico. On June 13, 1868, she was admitted to Fort Bayard Hospital and was diagnosed with neuralgia, which is a kind of a catch-all term for any acute intermittent pain caused by a nerve. It was finally discovered during this hospitalization that she was, in fact, a woman. On October 14, 1868, William Cathay was discharged at Fort Bayard with a certificate of disability, which included statements from the captain of her company and the post's assistant surgeon. Over the 2 years she had spent in the Army, she participated in regular garrison duties, but there is no record that she ever saw direct combat while she was enlisted. So she wasn't on the front lines or anything like that. Though she was not well regarded by her commanding officer, she was honorably discharged with the legacy of being the first and only female Buffalo soldier to serve. Buffalo soldiers were African American soldiers who mainly served on the western frontier following the American Civil War. Afterwards, she had several different jobs as a laundress, a cook, and a part-time nurse. Some years later, her health issues arose again when she was hospitalized in early 1890 for almost a year and a half. By the time she left the hospital, she was completely without funds, completely broke, and in June 1891, she filed for a pension from the U.S. Army. Her application claimed that she was suffering from deafness, rheumatism, and neuralgia, all of which she contracted while in the Army. However, after many and various doctorate exams, the Pension Bureau rejected her claim on medical grounds, stating that no disability existed. Further, they found that her discharge certificate indicated her feeble condition predated enlistment and was not due to her military service. Lastly, and most obviously, her service in the Army wasn't legal because she was a woman, and any type of pension, disability, or otherwise was denied. What happened to her after that is kind of unknown, but she likely died sometime between 1892 and 1900, as her name no longer appeared on census rolls from 1900. Cathay Williams, or Cathay Williams, bridged a gap in military service when she enlisted as the first female Buffalo Soldier, and she's truly a badass woman in history. And I was so glad and so excited to research this woman. So, comment, like, subscribe, comment down below, who should I do next? And thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video.